day during this 10 hours Zoom. I was from 10 o'clock till half an hour ago in an Iranian room. And these people are business people, usually business people. Now's the day also people of security personnel and also from hardcore opposition are mixed in this room, and each one of them is, saying something. But during this day, I had observed the rise of anti-Semitism in Iran. The rise of anti-Semitism in Iran. This is the sad stuff. But to be honest, maybe one point we shouldn't forget. In this very moment, of course, there are a lot of voices who are not anti-Semitic, but they are afraid to talk because a lot of them are not secured like me in safe haven of Germany. And those who are now in Iran, maybe good advice would be to them to keep quiet and wait for the better time. But those who are my dialogue partners, they wanted to judge me in all, terms they want to judge people like Dreyfus. I was the Dreyfus of them today. They beat me 10 times in the dishes.
I like the reference.
I'm listening to your wonderful room, and it is very nice to have you friends now after all these months and years on your side. And thank you for your interest, and we would, of course, monitor this situation in the next future.
Thanks so much, Bruce. And we all are thinking, for you and wish you the best in your family. And we thank you for the first-hand information. It's really important. And it's all good in a bad situation, but yeah. But thanks for the thing. All right, we are totally into the closing comments, pearls of wisdom. We got a big stage here, so I don't know if I'm going to get back to everybody. So if I miss you and you want to say something, feel free to interject and interrupt. I'm totally fine with that. But let's go to Susie, because she has been waiting, and so is Stephanie. Go ahead, Susie.
Oh, thank you, Bruce, and thank you to you, and best wishes for your family and everything that's going on there. It's a really, really difficult situation, and I know that there used to be a huge Jewish population in Iran back in the day, but of course
they also, my dear Susie, and that is the issue. Yes, this is my biggest fear, because right now there are those who I'm ashamed to talk about it, but this hardcore people are triggering Iranians to fight the Jewish people. And God might save us from that kind of madness and this thing. Really, I am really scared about the manipulation of the people during the last moments of this regime. They are now weak, and they are losing power, and they are in the most dangerous stand now. Sorry to interrupt you.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry.
About 50,000 Jewish people are still living in Iran. Iran is the second Jewish society country in Middle East after Israel.
Yes, I actually knew a little bit of that history. So I think that I have two short comments. In a country like Denmark, we have two headlines going on currently, and one of them, no, that's not two. We have three. That's what the F is going on in the US. Second, what the F is happening with Iran and the whole situation there. And I think when it comes to Iran in Denmark, people are sort of like very hesitantly somebody saying, well, we need a big bad bully to do it. We think that might be the solution because it's been like a forever conflict, disentanglements, so maybe it could be good, but also a lot of people saying, just no more war. This is absolutely the wrong path to take. And then everything in between, like I think in most other countries. But also the headlines being made by NATO um, prime ministers meeting NATO, so decisions are being made about the future of NATO currently. And of course, we noticed that the President of the United States was supposed to be in Europe today, but he's busy, of course, with other things. So the plan is now that he's going to attend the NATO meetings tomorrow. And when we come to the situation about Denmark, Greenland, the US, the big, beautiful dome and everything, that is also on our mind. And that is sort of a second agenda happening right here besides all of the others. So what NATO is deciding right now is that almost all countries in NATO and Europe is going to increase their military budgets from around, the last number I saw was an average of maybe 2% of the national budgets to 5% of the national budgets. So French huge investments in everything about security and weapons and everything else, which is of course one of the other side effects of this unfortunate situation.
Yeah, no, so true. Thanks, Susie. Yeah, the whole NATO meeting will definitely be interesting, but it's so bizarre to think that everybody is thinking in terms of, oh, we have to increase our military budgets, which I guess in sort of the reality of the situation right now, there is a logic behind it, but it's sort of a sad tale. It's like we should be spending our money in other places. Stephanie, did you want to go ahead? Closing comment, pearls of wisdom.
Sure. Closing comments this is, but I've been talking to Iranians, and the three big takeaways I get is that number one, do not listen to reporters saying the people of Iranian on-the-spot interviews of the population, because if they really say how they truly feel and it's against the current regime, their life is in danger, or they're in danger of being imprisoned or hurt. So you can't really trust right now any interviews of any Iranian populations on television. So don't let that make you think that they're supporting certain things. You just can't trust it. I think the best way is to go into rooms or talk to Iranians who have contact with Iranians over there right now, kind of like what Perusian was doing. Secondly, my takeaway from the Iranians I've been listening to is that they want regime change. There's different ways to do it. Some people are working internally on it. Some people are working externally on it. Iranians. It remains to be seen if other countries will inflict it. And there are models for regime change that have been very successful, Japan being one of them. So anyway, and then my third takeaway is that, Iran is a very proud country, and it was once known as Persia, and founded in 550 BC. The first empire was founded by Cyrus the Great, and they changed their name to Iran in 1935. And there is a lot of pride in their history, pride in their culture, pride in their people, well deserved. And I believe that is a big motivator for Iran when it's attacked to dig in even deeper. So I don't think anything that we do from the outside to eliminate nuclear weapons or other change their culture is going to. I think that they will dig in, and even if it takes 10 or 20 years, they're going to get what they want. So anyway, those are my takeaways. And then everybody, please take care of your health, your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, because we need it to be resilient to get through these times. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to David Jacobson and then Barbara. David Jacobson, are you home? Closing comment, pearls of wisdom.
Sure, I'm home. I don't know how closing this is. Sorry, I'm a little stuffed up. This is not just ridiculous timing, but a week after the protest of the big, beautiful, horrible bill, the no kings. He does this king move. I mean, rather than the 5D chess, this is the most insecure piece of shit. It won't take any advice, won't listen to anybody. So there's your closing thought.
I mean, he is the ultimate liar.
Well,
you know, he comes out and says,
all the cruelty of Medicaid.
Sure.
Snap.
No, there is no more despicable person in the whole world. And the idea of even talking about negotiating with him or having a conversation, why would anybody negotiate with him?
No,
he lies about everything.
He
cheats about everything. He's completely untrustworthy. He undoes every treaty that was ever made. He's a piece of shit.
He's a Manchurian candidate for Russia to create an American Civil War. The American Civil War is the only way for anybody to destroy America is to let us do it to ourselves.
Why are we letting that happen?
Because we have a lot of dumb people.
They're cutting social safety net and they're going to war against our allies.
Because we're short-sighted. We're short-term thinkers in America.
It's not short-sighted. We are money-grubbing, fraudulent, complacent class of money grubbers. What would Jesus say?
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go to Barbara. Closing comment, pearls of wisdom.
Okay, Ben. So I'm going to be really confronting, which is not in my style. Susie knows that. Danes don't tend to do that, but please wake the fuck up.
There you go.
I'm not kidding you. Don't call it a bunker buster bombs. This is a war. This is a war. 4 hours ago, Israel attacked 6 Iranian airports. I mean, it's just escalating, right? And I speak to a lot of Europeans, and I know, Susie, you do too. This, holy shit, man. This is like, wake up, people. Don't, oh my God. This again, the bigger we. Let's get in the court, and Trumpy Bumpy, come on. The guy's an idiot, So anyway, I don't know what else to say. Sorry. Don't make me the caboose, please.
Okay, but your outrage is refreshing because I do hang out with Danes, and to this degree it tells us everything. So thank you, Barbara. I actually, in a bad situation, somehow I enjoyed that. So. Let's you know what? Might as well go to Tina. Let's
right now I'm recording by Mendelssohn, and he just had shit because people were reporting for live streaming the room, and he's like, I sent you the link of him like chastising.
I haven't heard Susie, but I know how Danis think about it. Yes.
Yeah, Jeff's room. I like Jeff's rooms, like, for me personally. I like Jeff.
Go to the street and protest, call to your senators and make sure that change will come because we are living historical time at the moment. And by the way, USA is NATO country, so in our news.
He's smart. He knows a lot.
And then a few minutes later, we're like best friends again. So but it's a good group of people. It's a really good mix of people. You should come in more often as yourself and just.
No, I can't. He blocks me and kicks me because he knows I record rooms and he can't stand it.
I've been slowly laying the groundwork. And I won't disclose the person, but I said a couple days ago, on multiple days, that I've changed my opinion of you. Not completely for the better, but definitely trending in the better. That was a joke.
Well, I don't ever expect to be, actually, truly,
What?
I don't expect to ever actually be truly enjoyed because... Accepted, yeah. Because...
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
people just... That. But another person was, like, echoing my exact sentiments and saying, if the shit hits the fan, she wants to be able to have access, he or she wants to be able to have access. It's like a good thing that you're recording some of the bullshit that some of these people say, because if anything does happen, like, you'll have records of what they said before it actually happened.
Yeah, it's true.
Imagine if Timothy McVeigh was on the app, right?
Well,
talking about stuff.
Well,
like, how sweet would that have been for his trial for you to say, well, here's what he said 2 years prior about the United States government?
Well, my recordings of Elon Musk are probably my most exclusive recordings.
Shit, I gotta take this. My doctor calling.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Go ahead.
Now, Mr. Trump has said that he also won't make Iran again, and he started kind of
Regime change?
No, yes, of course, he spoke about that, and he started this term of MIGA, make Iran great again. Before he wants to make America great, but you are maybe somehow now making yes we are speaking about our private opinions, and none of us is so important. I mean, I think Mr. Ben Mendelsohn is the ambassador husband, but me, I'm a humble person. But I think Ben. The issue is that the Iranians, some of them, or a lot of them, are somehow familiar with his behavior in America. A lot of Iranians are, also American citizens or citizens of other states around the world. And maybe, in times of Roosevelt, you had a president inspiring whole world with his beautiful and democratic ideas. But now today, maybe the power of or soft power of America maybe is not that inspiring anymore. At least to for my understanding. This is the problem. And from other side, you have Bibi Netanyahu. And he's not also that kind of beloved in Islamic world. And, the case is they have started an operation. This operation is like a point of no return. Now they have to finish it. I mean, they have to kill the boss. And we are now in the middle of a holy month, This is the month of the martyrdom of the Imam Hussein, is a Shiite important apostle. So, and either they have to finish the job and await a lot of, death celebration that is going to. Yes, my wife is calling me that Iran has hit American facilities in Qatar.
Yeah, I want to show.
Oh my God. So, come on. So, and then we are starting a wonderful adventure together, my dear friends, my American friends. I hope you and my own people.
Well,
at the end, they will drop an atomic bomb on Iran. At the end, they were going to drop an atomic bomb on Iran.
No, I hope not.
And they were going to wash their hands in blood for America being great again. Thank you.
Thanks, Farzan. We all hope, obviously, that doesn't happen, but it is a scary time right now. And I know we want to get to look at the news. So, before we go, because I do need to close up, so what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go. I want to let Roy give her piece, because she might have a different view than some of the other people. And, just because she could, I guess I can say, Roy, we all know you. You're an American, you're Persian, you're also Jewish, so you give a very interesting, unique point of view that may be different from some of the other people. But I want to give you some space to, because I want to, look, I'm sure this is top of mind for you. So go ahead, Roy.
Yeah, I'm not just Iranian American and Jewish. I'm mixed. My mom's side is Jewish. My
dad's side is just typical Persian. I've been in Iran. I've experienced Iran. My family on both sides, many of them still live in Iran. I'm not some disenchanted person in the diaspora. So I wanted to thanks for the opportunity. I just wanted to touch base on this idea in which maybe we feel extremely devoid of this conflict, as if this has nothing to do with us as Americans, as if Iran isn't our problem, we shouldn't risk another Afghanistan. I think it's important from my perspective that we actually take an examination of what that means, because we've never not been involved. In Afghanistan, we didn't just support anti-Soviet fighters, we actually funded and armed those Islamist groups, the Mujahideen, because they were the most effective short-term tool. And exactly it was in this room that America has short-term memory, but the Middle East remembers. Well, it's not just a matter of memory, it's a matter of muscle memory and reality that comes after that. So that was a decision that we made to empower the Taliban. That was a strategic choice. There was other armed militias on the ground, and we made that decision by design, not an accident. In Iraq, the regime, the change that happened in Iraq, we have to come to this reality that it was imposed with any investment or political groundwork. The civil society within the country was basically decimate. There was no plan for governance, no democratic institutions ready to take over. So when the regime did collapse, militias fled, and what did they do? They filled the vacuum. That wasn't a failure on the Iraqi people. It was a failure in how we, the West, approached that transition. The same can be said about Libya, when he was removed with NATO support, but again, no real plan. So this is what I want to say. Iran is often thrown, and I've heard it on this stage, I've heard it across Clubhouse, and it's sickening to me, quite frankly. It's thrown in the same pile. But let's not forget what we played in the 1979 revolution. It was not some pure people's uprising. The United States completely effed up that situation. They were in communication with Khomeini when he was in exile. They gave signals to the Shah's military to stand down, and the regime didn't just take power by accident. It was facilitated, and we played a role in that facilitation. And now we can't just wash our hands of the consequences. Even now, people talk about, $100 billion? Well, that was their money. No. Their money is in an actual economy that's privatized, where the majority of the people are behind that economic weight of that GDP, not a regime that oppresses 80% of its population, right, and uses nationalized gas and oil to hang gay people and create gender apartheid on a day-to-day basis, right? So what's happening in Iran today, it is fundamentally different, and I'm tired of this being used as some sort of fear-mongering tool, because, quite frankly, if there's honestly a little bit of racialization in it too. You take out one bad Islamist, another one like guacamole is going to pop up. It's not top down, it's not externally driven, it's grassroots, it's cross-generational, and it's a politically conscious movement. And all the Iranian people have ever asked for is not to fund our oppressors. That is all they have ever asked for. Back when Obama released that $100 billion, the Iranians were dying in the streets. They were dying, and all they were saying was, Obama, Obama, Yabama, Yaba Una, which means, Obama, Obama, you're with us or you're with them. So I think that hopefully this can widen the lens a little bit, and let's not be so quick to wipe our hands clean from the responsibilities that we also have played into this regime and keeping this regime alive and normalizing interactions with this regime. Thanks.
Roy, thank you. Listen, first of all, it's really, look, what she said is heartfelt, and you know more about this than I do, and most people in the room, and I appreciate the viewpoint. And I actually, I don't think anybody can follow you, because that was there. It gave us a lot of stuff to think about. We do need to think about it.
Would you allow me a question to Roya?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Roya, what do you think that what kind of role has Soviet Union at that time of the history in Iraq? After the revolution, right after the revolution, there was a competition between the KGB and CIA in Tehran. And it is, I think, important for us also to, have a look on that, because I think a lot of what has happened was manipulated by KGB.
Right.
The Iranians were actually without a kind of guilt.
Of course, we can talk about the Tudeh party, the Iranian Communist Party, how the Soviets watched with quiet approval, how they hoped that leftist influence would take over, commie leftist mentality would reign. They did not support Khomeini directly. They were suspicious of his ideology. They didn't fund or arm the revolution. They didn't control post-revolution outcomes. I mean, the Soviets. They were gamblers in the same game, but not exactly in the same way. Where they're sitting there with the Shah, they're sitting there with a revolution, with a guy who's sitting in fucking France. They're not the ones sitting there calling him and saying, "Hey, by the way, we've talked to the military. Stand down." Like, we've really fucked up that situation. I'm not saying it's all in the hands of the Americans, but we haven't gambled correctly a lot of the time.
So they have gambled bad once?
Not just once, multiple times.
Well, and this turn around, Mr. President is going to solve all the problem with that wise wisdom that he has.
You're making that correlation. I'm not making that correlation. I merely brought up to the room that this concept and idea in which we can just go ahead and generalize about every single conflict within the Middle East as if our blueprint, which we've tried to quote unquote copy paste with, is something that is applicable to the Iranian people. You and I both know that Iran is not some sort of weak state. Economically, national identity-wise, people actually being united. They may not have the exact same solution on what the opposition should look like or what transition should look like, but there's not one Iranian person that does not understand that the IRGC is their oppressor and that things need to change. And people here are wondering, well, how can we support the Iranian people? Maybe start looking into the actual viable and diverse voices in which are the opposition, instead of us sitting here saying that, oh my God, how do we not get involved in a war that we've played no role in? I think that it's good for me to just open up the perspective.
My dear Roya, I wish you and me, myself, to once celebrate freedom or free Iran together in Tehran. This is from you and from my part. But this very moment is, I think,
Views on John, the room is ending. I don't think that we want to continue the conversation. I can't get into a deep convo over what the Soviets did in the 1970s. Unless we want to.
First of all, I feel very honored that both of you are here, that both of you are my friends. So let's call it a day. We'll be continuing this conversation, I'm sure, today and through the week. So let's see you around.
As I walk this wicked world.
Someone's in the copyright music.
Times of Israel is reporting missiles were launched at both Qatar and Iraq. Go ahead, Brett.
Okay, so I just want to say something. Apparently,
mine is dead, apparently.
One at a time. So, apparently Trump says he wants complete takeover of Iran.
Well, that's the opposite of what the TOA claimed the White House said.
Trump saying he wants complete takeover of Iran.
Like he just got in the Situation Room. I don't believe that.
And Qatar's foreign ministry spokesperson strongly condemns Iranian attacks.
Everybody say goodbye to Iran.
Let's not get hyperbolic.
I literally want to fly towards Turkey. Just one.
Why?
I don't like Turkey. I believe Turkey's the next
Oh,
Iran.
well, I thought you wanted to go to.
No, I'm saying I think one needs to fly towards Turkey.
I prefer chicken to
Because
turkey.
I believe Turkey will be the next Iran in that region.
I mean, fuck, who names a country after a bird in any case?
I think, Rafi, it's better if you make that point, which I agree with, without just saying the next Iran. It makes you sound dumb. Like, Turkey has very little good or ethical intent in the region, and I tend to agree with you that, like, notwithstanding something changing with the absence of Iran as a regional power for a while,